Ukraine is signaling its hardest line yet. Kyiv now warns that any forced recognition of Russian control over Donbas is non-negotiable. A red line President Zelensky says will determine the future of Europe's borders. As the war grinds into its fourth year, Ukraine insists Moscow's territorial claims cannot form the basis of any peace formula. And in his latest video message, Zelensky revealed Ukraine is finalizing a new security guarantees document with the United States, designed to lock in territorial integrity and prevent any deal that concedes land.
When there is security, everything else is also there. 20 points for the end of the war is a fundamental document. We are actively working on key steps. These should be workable steps. From this document, we are developing two more documents, at least two documents. And the first of them is a security document on the guarantee of security for Ukraine with the United States of America, as well as an economic document on reconstruction and joint investments.
The Donbas has become the defining fault line of Europe's biggest war since 1945. Russia calls the region historically ours. Ukraine calls that claim a colonial fantasy. Western diplomats warn that unless this standoff is resolved, Europe faces decades of tension, instability, and insecurity, with reconstruction itself impossible unless territorial security is guaranteed. The Kremlin is hardening its tone even further. Putin's aides now insist Moscow will never return Donetsk or Luhansk, calling them forever part of the Russian Federation. Analysts say this entrenched stance signals a long war doctrine, one that bets the West will eventually fracture before Ukraine yields.
We still receive approaches about ceasing hostilities on this or that front. When Ukrainian troops leave the territories they occupy, then the hostilities will stop. If they don't leave, we will achieve this by military means.
Putin's message, withdraw or be crushed by force, further underscores Moscow's refusal to negotiate territorial questions. Zelensky responded sharply, saying, Putin is paying any price not to end this war, as Europe ramps up sanctions on Russia's tanker fleet, and Ukraine prepares its own package targeting Moscow's oil infrastructure. NATO officials are alarmed by both tone and timing. They warn that accepting Russia's Donbas land grab, even implicitly, would shatter 3 decades of post-Cold War security rules. One senior NATO diplomat says it would rewrite the map of Europe and legitimize conquest by force. Kyiv, meanwhile, is assembling a 30-nation coalition of volunteers to enhance air, land, and sea defense, a sign Ukraine is preparing for a prolonged standoff if Moscow refuses to shift. Behind closed doors, Ukrainian officials are urging allies for binding guarantees. No concessions on Donbas, no freeze that recognizes Russian occupation lines. Kyiv fears any compromise would signal globally that powerful states can redraw borders by force. Zelensky also pushed back at political speculation over wartime elections, saying Ukraine will provide its own legal answers while partners, especially America, determine broader security challenges. As ceasefire rumors circulate, diplomats now say the Donbas question is the ultimate deal-breaker. Without movement from Moscow, any peace negotiation is dead on arrival. Zelensky insists Ukraine's reconstruction, economic future, and long-term security all require a settlement that prevents Russia from keeping even a single piece of Donbas. That ultimatum may now define not just Ukraine's future, but the fate and security architecture of an entire continent.